Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are.
Good evening, Nairobi.
Nairobi, very good. Anybody else want to jump in with where they are as people are starting to enter the room? I'm Megan Mitchell. I'm your kind of host for today, moderator with the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT. You're going to hear a little bit from me, but a lot more interesting stuff from the entrepreneurs we have today, and you're going to get to work with them, get to know them.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else want to chime in or maybe put it in the chat? That works too. It's always a good place to say a little bit more about yourself and what brought you here.
Should I be the one speaking?
I mean, you're the only one who's chimed in. You want to give us just a real quick, you're from Nairobi, you're an entrepreneur. What do you do?
Yes. My name is Dr. Ambrose. I am one of the entrepreneurs who work with Insurance for All. We do.
We're going to hear from Insurance for All. Don't give it away. Don't give away the good stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, welcome to those that are here. Fantastic if you want to share who you are, where you're from in the chat while we get going so we can stay on time. I think we have what should be an enjoyable session for all of you. As I mentioned, Megan Mitchell from the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So I'm joining you from just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. But here, this isn't about me. This is about the fantastic entrepreneurs that we have here for you today. A little bit of context. The Legatum Center is focused on entrepreneurs and their market-driven solutions. So we have the good fortune to work with students, alumni, and entrepreneurs around the world who are focused on impact and scale and solving some of the world's most difficult problems. We believe that entrepreneurs are really those who are going to drive change, prosperity, and make a true difference in the world. The center's been around since about 2007 and has been really focused on working with our student entrepreneurs. We have a fellowship program and have done some other co-curricular programming. The fellowship gives students a chance through some financing relief for their education, but also through curriculum, community building, and celebration of them and their activities gives them a chance to really work and build and develop their ventures in a community and safe environment. So if anyone is interested in, if you're a potential MIT student, please reach out. We can put, that would be fantastic. We'd love to tell you more. Now that said, let's talk about how today's going to work. We have 6 entrepreneurs. 4 of them are Legatum Center entrepreneurs. 2 others are fantastic ones that Sam helped us source. You will hear from those entrepreneurs. What we'll do is we're going to break this session into 2 parts. We'll hear quick pitches from 3 of our entrepreneurs, 2 Legatum fellows, those fellows who are part of our community, and then one of the Sankelp entrepreneurs. And then we'll go into breakout groups, and they'll be moderated by, a member of the Legatum Center family. But this is a chance for you to help the entrepreneurs solve a challenge that they're facing that they'll pose to you during their pitch. Okay. And we're going to put you in those breakout groups. We'd like you to kind of network and work with people who might not be the first person you think you're going to, you want to jump to. But, give a chance for you to meet someone who's a little bit different. If you need to move groups, that's okay. But I think this is a good opportunity to build interesting connections and interesting bridges. So each of our entrepreneurs will have 3 minutes to tell you a little bit about their organization, their company, and present their kind of call to action or challenge that they're facing. And so listen closely, think about how you might help them, and we'll, kind of move on from there. So I'm going to start by inviting Pulkit Shamsheri, who is a Legatum Fellow from Nairobi, Kenya, has been a fellow 2 times over, actually, to start us off with talking about Illumina.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can see my screen. Well, Welcome and thank you for joining us. Good evening and good morning, depending on where you are. I'm Pulkit. I'm a second year MBA student at MIT and also a second year Legatham Fellow and a proud Legatham Fellow. So I'm the co-founder and technical director of Illumina Africa. What Illumina basically does is it develops and builds turnkey solar solutions for East African companies. So think about big energy consumers such as schools, hospitals, metal industries that use a lot of energy. We provide a solution that they pay no money upfront and save on their operating cost in the future. Why a lot of people have been going solar in East Africa at least has been due to three reasons. The cost of electricity is extremely high at 20 cents a dollar. We go in, we provide a solution and we charge them a discount of about 40 to 50%. So they're saving energy costs from the get-go. A lot of companies in Europe and the US have targeted to reduce their net carbon, and they have huge ambitious net carbon goals. And that kind of goes down to their suppliers, and a lot of farming communities and horticultural groups in Kenya are being forced to reduce their scope 3 carbon or their carbon footprint, and going solar does that. And also a lot of companies are trying to get what's called green financing. When you get LEED certification, you get a lower discount on a lower interest on your loans. And again, going solar helps you with that. So I started this company in 2016 with two other co-founders, and now we've built the company to over 2 megawatts of solar installation in Kenya. That accounts for about 5% of the Kenya's solar installation in total. And yeah, so why did I start Illumina? It was not to do large-scale commercial industrial solar. The vision has always been to accelerate the adoption of solar in Africa. We wanted to start off with going rural, but and provide for rural electrification, but we soon realized it wasn't really as profitable initially, and we were very small. We needed to rely a lot on grant funding and funding in general. So we pivoted, focused towards commercial industrial scale solar, built our core competency. We have a team of over 15 individuals and a group of installers of about 50 individuals. We're using this platform and our company to build another platform to provide low cost, high quality solar products for the local industry. A lot of local suppliers don't have the capability of importing. So we are using our scale and our market power to be able to provide them with lower cost, high quality solar products. We want to then use that to develop better, more affordable solar such that we can sustainably electrify the unelectrified. So we want to go from the current state of what's on your left to what's on the right. And we all know that electricity is a great pillar on which you can build sustainable communities. You need electricity for education, to build healthcare services, to build businesses and run businesses. So the vision is what's on the right. We want to be able to provide electricity to everyone that requires it. And yeah, hopefully you will help me today with that. So the three key problems that I face in getting to where I want to get to are these three. I want to focus on talent development today, but if anyone wants to connect with me offline, I'm going to be super happy to do that. So talent has been really, solar is a very niche industry, and there's not a lot of people that know or understand how to develop solar. So talent development has been really difficult for us. And I would love to hear from you how everyone's gone about doing that. The other two are we're trying to expand into other East African countries. So if you do have connections, I would love to talk to you. And anyone in the rural electrification with a huge interest in that, please do connect again offline, and I'd love to hear from you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pulkit. We now are going to hear from a fantastic entrepreneur that I had the good fortune to meet last week when we did a planning session. We're going to stay in Kenya with John Paul Otieno. John Paul, can you share your screen and make sure you're come off mute? It's always and talk about insurance for all. Here we go.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Megan, for the opportunity. I think I'll just jump straight to it. I work for a company called Insurance for All, and Insurance for All is a micro insurance company that was started in the year 2014 with the sole focus of developing relevant and affordable insurance products for the low income segment population in Africa, starting from Kenya. So we have a product that we rolled out around 3 years ago called Afya Poa. And Afya Poa is a unique health financing solution. It has, it started off as an inpatient only product, but we've grown it ever since to include other benefits like outpatient, hospital cash, personal accident cover, funeral, and property. Allowed to mix and match the benefit so that they can basically fit in what risk and also is affordable to them. But on average, if you are to mix all these products, you'd end up paying at least $1 a day for a mix of all these products. Yeah, so we are as I feel the problem, we are basically trying to solve two problems. The first one is access to healthcare. So recent statistics point out that about 40% of people who are sick within Kenya do not actually forgo treatment, citing costs as the main reason. And you'd find that a sick person would stay 12 days before he actually makes the decision to go to hospital and get treated because he simply doesn't have the money. Then only 2% of our working population have some sort of insurance. So it's actually a big issue because they have to rely on out-of-pocket expenditure, and that money might not be there as and when someone is sick. Then the second problem that we are looking at resolving is that of financial resilience. We just want to enable low-income families, which are the bulk of our population, to be able to cope with some of these major catastrophes and disasters that face them. So by providing such resilience, we give them the muscle to try and climb out of their situation, their poverty situation, and actually be more successful into the future. So those are the two problems that we are looking at solving. So if you look keenly at our market, you'll find that it consists mainly of small and micro enterprises, what they call Jua Kali here in Kenya. It's about a population of about 14 million people, which is about 80% of our working population. Very young, aged between 18 and 45. And at the same time, maybe might be surprised that there's actually a lot of money that circulates within that segment. So the estimation is that 25% of our GDP, which is about 20 billion US dollars, circulates within how they can be able to purchase insurance. Most in this segment, about 40%, earn about $10 per day. That's like 1,000 shillings per day. And that is the segment that we are actually targeting with the product that we have. So about 40% of the 14 million who earn at least $10 per day. They are all on mobile phone and they can be able to transact on mobile money. Most within that particular niche have attained basic education. They know what insurance is. They understand and appreciate the importance and how insurance can help them. So our problem has actually been that the low uptake since we first launched in the year 2018. We had a target to have covered at least 100,000 people by the third, fourth year of rollout, but we've done slightly less than 2,000 policies to date. So the uptake is worrying us. We've worked on the product, we've worked on the pricing, we're actually doing something on technology to make it more transparent and easier for our clients to access the benefits in insurance they're not willing to buy. So that's our biggest problem.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we have one more entrepreneur to hear from in this segment. We're going to move across the continent and also, but come back to another MIT Legatum Fellow, Ezine Uzo-Okoro of Terraformers. Ezine, if you could share, there we go. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Ezine Uzo-Okoro, and I'm here to talk to you about Terraformers. Terraformers is about growing food everywhere. And so what do I mean by that? So hunger has many faces. And what if anyone could grow fresh food anywhere in urban spaces so that we have at least 40% of our perishables in a nearby location to allow us to consume food, particularly those who are food insecure. So that's what Terraformers does and hopes to continue doing. We exist to produce food everywhere. We exist to grow fresh food and help to produce more valuable arable land. And we exist to grow food, particularly on infertile soil, to help feed our world sustainably and prepare us for, surprise, space food production. I'll say more about that in a second. So how does Terraformers work? The basic premise that we pitch is simple. Do you have a kitchen? Get a garden. And there are 3 steps. We have residents hire an expert. The expert grows food for them in their backyard, and they experience local freshness. And what you see below is how we started in California in the US with a pilot with one of our gardeners. And that was a backyard in the city. And a garden was grown for residents in the city. And it fed a family of 6. But then we have conducted a 2-year-long pilot in Nigeria. We have encouraged students to learn how to grow food. So we started by piloting in local schools and in local churches before recruiting about over 35 gardeners who are unemployed and need economic opportunity to train them to become gardeners and provide customers for them, again, in the city of Lagos, Nigeria, to grow food and provide sustenance to people who want fresh organic produce in their backyard. So what's our challenge? So we're planning to launch formally in Lagos, Nigeria in the summer, so in July of this year. And I am very curious to get your feedback on 2 launch options. So we can continue as we initially planned, which is our online to offline gardening option. We've got a website, we've got a mobile, a WhatsApp community where people request gardeners. And we can keep the vision for the pilot and continue the online market space that allows homeowners with, again, at least 18 square feet of open air space to connect with and hire local or urban gardeners to grow fresh food in their backyard. It gives the gardeners economic opportunity, and they get to buy bikes, take classes, and feed their families with their pay. The second option is to go straight into becoming a food production company, growing food at a large scale for Lagosians, more of a smallholder farmer scale, and to grow food for space. So space is a sector that I have spent over a decade in, And food production activities here on this planet help us to provide solutions for food opportunities, production opportunities in space. And there is an opportunity that's Middle Eastern sponsored right now to launch those food production activities and give Nigerians an opportunity to join in to provide food, to conduct food production in space. And so I just would love your feedback on what you think people are more likely to be excited about. Thank you.
Thank you. Exciting stuff. I hope you're excited to get in and start working with these entrepreneurs. I know some of you joined after we had started. So just a quick recap. I'm your host, Megan Mitchell from the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT. We're focused on building entrepreneurs and their market-driven solutions as challenges to the world's greatest problems. And you've just heard from 3 entrepreneurs who exemplify the work that we do and the research that we do, the students that we support. Would love for you to put in the chat who you are, where you're from, what you care about, just as a way to introduce, yourselves to one another. I'm Megan Mitchell. I'm from the Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship at MIT, and we have 6 entrepreneurs here today, 4 of whom I'm lucky enough to work with on an almost daily basis as entrepreneurs and fellows of a program that I run. But also we have 2 other fantastic entrepreneurs, John Paul and Soon, who joined us and Sandkalp helped bring to this session. So we heard from 3 entrepreneurs. They each gave us about 3 minutes on the venture that they're working on in the first half of this session. You're going to hear from 3 more now. 3 minutes on what they're working on, and then what a big challenges that they're facing. Okay. And then we'll go back into breakout groups. You're going to be randomly assigned to breakout groups to spend some time getting to know them a little bit better and helping them work through their challenge. Okay. So let's, without further ado, we're not perfectly on schedule, but I promise Sandkalp organizers, I'll get us back on schedule. Don't worry. I got this. I'm going to ask Quadri, where there he is, Quadri Ogundade. He is with Innovate for Africa and someone I've had the good fortune of working with for a couple of years now. So Quadri, please share with us your venture and your challenge.
Absolutely. So, all right. I hope you guys can see my screen now.
We can.
All right, great. So again, thank you so much, Megan. And I'm really excited to be part of this brainstorming and solution session. My name is Quadri Ogundade, as Megan mentioned. I'm a second-year MBA student at MIT Sloan and a dual degree student at Harvard Kennedy School of Government as well, and also a second-year Legatum Fellow. So really excited to be part of this whole group. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Innovate for Africa. And Innovate for Africa is a social enterprise. We focus on identifying and training aspiring entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, and then providing them the opportunity to work at startups. And the main problem we try to solve is 2-sided. The first side is that there's a lot of youth and graduates across Africa, in Nigeria, that are unemployed right now. And part of the reason is that they don't have the right skill set, employable skill sets for them to go into the workforce. And on the other side, you have a lot of startups raising a lot of money. The amount of money being raised by startups across Africa has continued to increase. However, one of the main challenges for these startups is really finding talent. And it's really interesting that one of my fellow mentioned the same thing about talent development, which kind of proves the existence of this challenge. So what we try to do at Innovate for Africa is to really close this gap. And the way we do that is to identify top talent, those who have the entrepreneurial drive and potential. We identify them, we train them. We have what we call innovation readiness training, and then we place them at the startup. So for the graduates or the aspiring entrepreneurs, they go through our training program. We get them placed, and we then support them for a 1-year fellowship. For the startup, we partner with them. We understand their hiring need. We find them a fellow that really match with their culture, and then we also support the startup along the way. In terms of the innovation readiness training, so for the first month of the fellowship, we really focus on teaching these aspiring entrepreneurs, soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills around creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and leadership skill sets. And we then ground this with art skills, especially skill set that is really needed, that we've identified as something that a startup needs. So around product management, data analysis, and digital marketing. We also provide real life case studies where this fellow actually work on existing problem. So that's our training. And after the training, what we do is to place them with startups. And we've been successful to place them with startups both in Africa and also in the US. And this is one of the feedback we've received from startups. So now the main challenge that I really want to focus on is that even though we've actually had a lot of traction with US-based startups, one of the big challenge that we are facing and we are trying to continue to solve is to see how we can actually partner with more African-based startups and actually even place more fellows there. And so that's like the main challenge. Based on some of the feedback we've received from startup, I kind of listed them here. I think the first thing is that some of the comments they make is that they want experienced talent. When we match, we also charge a fee. Some of them have actually given feedback that they need to have a more discount or a reduced fee. And lastly, also some startup has also said that, again, we do remote placement. Some of them have actually mentioned that they would love the fellows to be actually in country where they actually operate. So that's the big challenge we are trying to solve, and I would love to hear your feedback and thoughts on this. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Quadri. And I know there's some entrepreneurs on here, so that could be potential sources of placement for your fellows at Innovate for Africa. Okay, next up, we have another Legatum fellow, Owele Owagwu, who's going to talk to us about the company he is founding, which is Indagba. Owele.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. I'm about to share my screen. Perfect. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Owele, and I am the CEO and founder of Indagba, and we are an early stage company focused on creating software tailored for the solar design system space in Nigeria and potentially all of Africa. So just to get going, the overarching issue that we are currently trying to solve is the problem of energy access and clean energy on the continent. And just to give you some context, 50% of the 200 million people in Nigeria do not have grid access, and those that have grid access have it for roughly 8 hours every single day. And most people turn to fossil fuel, so that's petrol, diesel, to meet their energy needs. And this is very bad for our environment, given the current challenge of climate change that we have. And it's also very, very costly. And with that context now, solar has presented itself as a very viable cost alternative to phasing out these petrol and diesel generators that people use. However, there are three major pain points that are not letting solar reach its full potential in the country. And the first of these is difficulty with design and siting these systems as best as they can be sited. Then the second is the high customer cost of acquisition. And this is mostly due to the behavioral change that's needed to get people from these diesel and petrol generators that they can basically pay for daily, weekly, or however suits them, to jump into these solar systems that are very capital heavy. So there's a lot of difficulty in getting people to go from the diesel generators to the solar systems. Then the final pain point is lack of capital. So, they're very, very high cost up front. So people that are trying to install these systems usually have difficulty raising the funds that they need to really, really grow their business, or working out financing partnerships with the people that are going to be paying for these systems from them. And given the potential of solar, there's actually no platform in the country that targets all these three pain points. So what Indagba is focused on doing is tackling these three pain points successively. So the first thing we're working on is actually to create design software that uniquely fits the market space. So we're trying to make sure that we can be a one-stop shop for people's design needs. So we want to make sure that people can go from the design creation to the financial reports generation all in one place. And just to make it clear, our product is going to be software, and we're actually not going to touch any solar equipment. Then just for context on where we currently are, we're currently building out our design software. So we're working with people that are going to be using this software to make sure that we're meeting their needs, and we're making sure we're providing the value that we want to. And then for the challenge I have for this session, thinking past the design software challenge that we're currently trying to tackle, we're also thinking about what the best way to create the online marketplace would be to help the installers bring down their cost of acquisition. So this is basically what is the best argument to give people to adopt solar. So this is where should we market, who should we market to, how should we market, what incentives should we give people, and what data would be most convincing for different types of people to actually see. So I'm very much looking forward to talking about this in the breakout rooms, but that's an overview of what I'm working on right now. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, Awele. This is the classic case of the engineer can build the product, but he needs help on the customer side, right? Okay, so we have one more entrepreneur to hear from, and not officially affiliated with MIT, but I think as part of this session becomes part of our family. Seen Sengolai, who is and she's the founder of Baby Grubs Nigeria.
Hello everyone, my name is Deonchang, and I'm the owner-in-chief at Baby Grubs, where we leverage the strength of mothers in the fight against malnutrition. So this is me. Well, not exactly, but it's the demographic that I represent, women of childbearing age, 18 to 40 years, and there's 40 million of us. And current statistics say that we're going to give birth to 6 children in our lifetime. This is true because I have 3 already. More children equals more time of work, equals more financial needs, if you agree with me. But that's not the major problem. It's about the children. These children is also currently estimated that only 10% of them are healthy. In fact, in Nigeria, 2,300 children die every single day from nutrition-related illnesses, and there's a myriad of problems attached to them. At Baby Grubs, we have designed a unique solution that targets 2 things: solves malnutrition and also empowers mothers to be more financially independent. Our unique solutions are foods that are targeted to meet the specific nutrient deficiencies of the Nigerian child, such as vitamin A deficiency, protein energy malnutrition, amongst others. And we empower mothers to be the sole distributors of this food. Our current approach at Baby Grubs is to empower mothers. They buy the food from Baby Grubs and they sell. And we do not put the products on store shelves so that these women can sell. These women also serve as breastfeeding champions in their communities and nutrition champions. We educate them and teach them to teach other mothers about nutrition. Our current challenge is how we have a new product that we want to put in the market. These products are going to be targeted at the bottom of the pyramid. They are foods that there's a void that we have noticed, that there's a void of high energy foods, high nutritious foods at the bottom of the pyramid. And we have designed these unique foods in conjunction with technical universities in Denmark to put them in the market. We have a new approach to the market. We do not want to use our existing approach. This new approach is, we want it to be youth-led, and we want to explore micro-franchising. But the challenge that we are faced with now is, how do we create a winning micro-franchising model for baby growth meals in a highly regulated baby food industry? We are not allowed to market directly to mothers. We are not allowed to put up billboards. We are not allowed to go to healthcare facilities. How do we penetrate this market? And currently, we do not sell only in Nigeria. We also sell in Ghana, we sell in Togo, and we are currently selling in the UK. So now we are moving into international waters. We need to have a strategy a marketing strategy that abides with international standards. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you. So another great group of inspirational entrepreneurs doing things that, this is, for me, it's in the morning in Boston, and this is a great way for me to start my day, to hear from all the inspirational work that these entrepreneurs are doing. So most of you know this, but I know there's continues to be a few people that join. You are going to be put in groups, each of you with a particular entrepreneur. These will be relatively randomly assigned. But if you, and we ask you to spend some time in that group and share your insights and perspectives. We are intentionally keeping it randomly assorted, just for the chance to talk to someone who might be in a different industry and provide a different perspective. Sometimes as entrepreneurs and just as people, we stay in our same zones and bubbles. So we will have 20 minutes. You'll be put into breakout groups. You will have the capacity to move if you truly want to, but like I said, I think it will help foster some new and interesting conversations. So if we can go ahead and go to the breakout groups, that would be awesome. Hello, people are starting to come back. Welcome back. We're going to just close out very quickly. So thank you, everyone. We only have 3 minutes, and I know how precious time is. What I would ask is, again, if there's people you didn't get to connect to, you maybe weren't in their breakout group, but you're inspired by the work they're doing, to, put a quick message in the chat, reach out to the organizers of SANCCULP. We can make some introductions. I'm sure that's, fine. We'll make that happen. I would ask our entrepreneurs, if you are so willing, put your email addresses in the chat as well. I know I really enjoyed getting to hear from, I always enjoy hearing from the students I know and work with, but from 2 new entrepreneurs who are doing amazing work on the continent as well. But it was a great opportunity to hear from some folks and different perspectives and input. So amazing. Thank you guys all thank you all so much for being here. Your thoughtful comments, your presentations, your time. I'm going to actually put my email in the chat if you have interest, if anyone has interest in learning more about the Legatum Center and what we do. Our best representatives in my mind are our students who you heard from. But please be in touch. Let us know how we can help, and thank you. Thank you for your time, your insights and perspectives.